Today, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes new tarot readers make. When we start reading, it's sometimes difficult to know what other readers do, what we want to do, and we're just kind of feeling things out. I hope this video can be a good way to sort of help you avoid mistakes that I know that I made when I started reading, and also to correct some mistakes that I've seen other readers make. Number 5. Not practicing often enough. So sometimes it's really difficult to figure out exactly how to practice tarot. Like, do I do it every day? Like, am I doing it too much? Like, am I practicing the wrong way? These are all completely normal questions to have when you're just starting out reading tarot. I recommend pulling at least one card every single day. And even before you know all of the card meanings, which will come in time, right? Like nobody knows them right off the bat. And also, when you're a new reader, you're still kind of figuring out exactly the context for all the cards. Like what comes before, what comes after it. All of those things matter in tarot. And without practicing, you're not going to get a great idea of exactly how they factor into the readings that you'll be giving. So it's really important that every day you try to have some interaction with your cards, whether it's just taking a look and trying to see all of the different things in the background, or looking something up, reading a book about it, or just taking your cards with you. Try to incorporate practicing tarot into your everyday life, and you'll be so surprised at how quickly you start to improve. One of the things that I recommend for tarot readers who are just starting out is keeping a tarot journal. So if you do readings for yourself as soon as you wake up in the morning, which we'll get to later on in this video, I recommend to, when you wake up or when you do your first reading of the day, just write down what cards you pulled, how you're feeling about it, what you think it means, and then at the end of the day, write a little bit about your day. And so you can look at what happened to you based on your thoughts about the card and what cards you pulled. If I'm on the job hunt and I have an interview and I pulled the Empress, I'm going to say, I think that I will very likely get this job because the Empress brings abundance. She has a cornucopia. I could buy a lot of food at the co-op with that. And then at the end of the day, kind of reflect on how your day went and see how close your actual lived experience is to what you wrote in your journal. I think that a lot of new tarot card readers get a little intimidated because they don't necessarily know exactly what a card means. But there's more than one way to read a card. One of the things that I recommend is to look at the background of the card and write 5 things down in your tarot journal that you notice. Like, for instance, if I'm looking at the Magician, I can notice that he has roses in the background, that his robe is red, that he's against a golden sky, that the infinity symbol is up above his head. All of those things are things that you can learn how to read in the context of the card without necessarily knowing exactly what it means. If you see roses, red roses in bloom, it's probably not a bad sign, you know? Like, you can assume that it's a pretty good sign. The sky isn't black or gray, it's gold, right? We generally associate gold with good, positive things, right? And the goal of tarot illustration is not to mislead you. It's to help you read it. It's to enhance your intuition. And so if you're really looking and paying attention to cards, you'll learn how to read cards in no time. Which leads us to number 4, not paying attention to those dreams. Tarot card readers should always pay attention to their dreams, both because a dream works in symbols, just like a tarot card does. So when you understand the symbols of your dreams, you can better understand how symbolism works in tarot. I recommend for new readers sleeping with the card underneath your pillows and then observing your dreams. So dream interpretation and tarot are actually twin arts. They both come from the collective subconscious. And what the collective subconscious is sort of the wealth of knowledge that's within the universe that we can all tap into. And so both tarot and dream interpretation pull from this. By sleeping with the tarot card underneath your pillow and interpreting your dreams, you can kind of get a better sense of both what that card means and also what it's trying to tell you. 3, not taking tarot seriously. So I know everyone has a tarot deck and everyone you know is probably reading tarot, but some people may just be doing it for fun and some people may be taking it seriously. If you want To learn how to read cards, you have to take it seriously. That means practicing, yes, and it does mean understanding your dreams and the signs that you see around you, but it also means taking those signs seriously. Either you believe in signs or you don't. Either you believe in the symbolism of tarot or you don't. And if you don't, you probably shouldn't read tarot, to be honest with you. A couple of years ago, I was in a very physically abusive relationship. After one particularly violent incident, I had a dream that it was pitch black at night and it was a full moon. I was floating down a river and there were little faces in the river and they were drowning. My boyfriend at the time, who was so abusive, he drowned, but I floated. I floated down the river and there was a beautiful, glorious, bright full moon. I left him the very next day. I did not have a place to stay. I didn't know what was coming next, but I had to listen to the signs that I was given, even when it was inconvenient, even when it was hard for me. You cannot read tarot without interpreting and trusting signs and symbols. Number 2, not respecting your cards. So I know that it can be hard to find a place to put your tarot cards, but it's really important that you keep them clean and put them in a place of pride and respect. Not everybody keeps an altar. Personally, I do. I keep my tarot cards on my altar. I recommend you wrapping your tarot cards up so they don't get dirty and so you keep them all together. You don't want any of the cards getting lost or soiled. And so just make sure you take care of them like you would take care of anything else important. And number 1, reading other people's cards too soon. So a lot of times when we first start reading, our friends are like, I want a reading, practice on me. And that's really great. But sometimes when you're just starting out reading, you don't necessarily have the rapport with the cards or with the other person to protect them from some of the information that they might receive. When people ask questions, when they are seekers, they often ask questions that are very important to them. It could be about money, it could be about their love life, it could be about their health, it could be about jobs. All of these questions are really important ones. And you want to make sure that you can make people feel safe and comfortable when they seek a tarot card reading with you. And that means a lot of practicing on yourself. Make sure you're comfortable reading for yourself before you kind of graduate to reading other people. I know that it can be tempting to try to trade a reading for another reading when you're just learning and just starting out. But sometimes you can get hit with a card where you don't necessarily know the meaning and you can really mislead someone. So it's important that you practice and get strong and confident on your own before you start reading for other people. When you are ready to read for other people, I recommend practicing on your close friends and family before you start reading for complete strangers. Try to use your new skills to benefit your community, your friends, and your family. Learning how to read tarot cards can be intimidating or daunting, but it's much easier when you learn how to develop a practice rather than just an aesthetic. Don't forget to watch the next video, 3 easy tarot spreads for beginners. And if this was useful for you, don't forget to subscribe, like me on Instagram, and share. Bone the Cat believes in you, and so do I.